Did you know you can advertise on podcasts?
Don't act like you're not impressed.
Find out more at podvertise.com.au. That's podvertise with an s.com.au.
Hey folks, welcome to episode 10 of the Unlaced Podcast, proudly brought to you by FC Football Kits. With over 15 years of operational history, FC Football has been servicing clubs at various levels, from national teams right down to community clubs, and most notably were a part of Team Wellington's campaign at the 2019 FIFA Club World Cup. The 2021 season marks their first full season in Australia, and having already become a force to be reckoned with within New Zealand, they are set to build for a big future in the Australian sporting apparel market. They have recently launched a game-changing offer, offering a 6-month interest-free payment terms to football clubs who sign up within the apparel company in 2021, across grassroots football and more. The interest-free terms will be well received by clubs looking for more flexible arrangements with apparel suppliers who have experienced a shortfall in funds, as expected for many grassroots clubs as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Check out the FC Football Kit website, guys, from the link in our bio to download a free copy of their catalogue. And if you're tuning in today's episode, you'll see me wearing some of their hoodies, and a pair of their socks will be given out to a special listener.
Muscat. Oh, lovely ball from Muscat. Thompson again. Archie Thompson! 3-0. And maybe that will bring the championship to Melbourne. Archie Thompson has a hat-trick. He'll take the match ball.
Welcome.
Thank you.
It's the first episode we've actually done in the studio. So
it's awesome, man. It's a mad crew.
It's a pretty big deal for us.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We've been doing it over Zoom, and I know I did plug you a few weeks ago. I'm like, mate, when lockdown finishes, can we get you in? So
yeah.
Appreciate.
It's cool. Thanks for
Appreciate
having
you
me.
coming in, man. It's pretty surreal for me, and I was saying to the guys before you walked in, I'm like, because Ethan and Will, that they don't know too much about football. I'm like, bro, you guys don't understand who the fuck Archie Thompson is. But for instance, for the listeners out there, the A-League started, 2005?
Yes.
Yeah, 2005. So I was 12 years old, bro. And
shit.
the biggest player back when the A-League started, and for all the young players, especially in Victoria, that everyone idolised, was always Archie. So it's pretty cool now to be able to sit here and have a conversation with you as a mate and speak through some of your experiences. Like for instance, like I was at the game where you scored a ridiculous back heel against Sydney at Olympic Park, and then the 5 goals in the grand final. And there's so much to talk about, but I guess it'd be good to get an understanding of how you're doing now, some of the things you're doing now since you've left the game, I guess in a playing capacity anyway.
Yeah, what I'm doing now is I do obviously contracted with Fox Sports, so I do some commentary and still learning that. I mean, after I finished, I suppose because of my what I did in the game and my kind of character, they said, okay, here, man, have a gig and talk about the football and in front of cameras and all that sort of stuff. And I was thrown in the deep end and not really given any sort of I suppose skills and to learn on the job. And so just probably in the last week I reached out to a dude and I'm going to start doing some media training. So all those haters out there, yes, I'm going to learn how to speak English. And then so that's been great. I'm actually enjoying that. And probably when I did finish football and got thrown into the Fox Sports, probably my head was in other areas where I didn't really focus too much on that this could be a possible career, and now I'm sort of obviously rethinking a lot of things, and I suppose this period gives you opportunities to work on things that you might have just thought that you kind of coast through or taken for granted, and so I'm probably a lot of things I'm learning to better myself with, and I've also started a football academy. I've had a football academy in the past, but I've just hooked up with a Football Star Academy. They've given me a great opportunity with a franchise and obviously be an ambassador.
Awesome.
So I'm looking to do that. And then, I met a beautiful woman that now it's close to almost 2 years. Made me sort of straighten up from what what I was doing before then.
Yeah.
I guess how I kind of maybe in a way disrespected women and all that sort of stuff. And you like I said, probably last time we met,
it was not in the best space.
No, we have epiphanies, and I'm still learning. I'm still and actually now and probably with the way that I speak and people hear me now, they go, man, that's not Archie. That's not the Archie of old, but I feel like the Archie of old was probably driven a lot with ego and things like that. So I feel like I've kind of evolved. I'm kind of on a little spiritual path, trying to think outside the box of ways to better myself. And I feel like with the guidance of my girl now, I'm learning.
That's awesome.
Continuing to learn. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at, and I'm happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, happy.
I love to hear that. Do you feel since you've come out of the game, you've had to like redefine yourself a little bit?
Yeah.
Being so defined by Archie Thompson, the goal scorer, or the great Socceroo?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how people kind of see you as. And mind you, I guess I've judged people with what I've seen or the way that they have been portrayed in sport or in particularly sport, because that's kind of what we've grown up in.
Yeah.
Just kind of think, oh, that guy's a dick. and you know what? It's not even him. Like it's maybe being part of an organisation that you kind of driven from with your ego, and it's not even that person. And so I've kind of I suppose trying to show people the real me. And you know, I mean, I'm still having a laugh and a joke, and I still maybe stuff up here and there, but
because I've always wondered that with you, and I never actually played with you, but we obviously have a lot of mutual friends that you played with, and so I've always known you as like the joker, the jovial, funny character. But what are you actually like behind the scenes with like serious stuff's happening within the club? Like you've had a bunch of losses, or the coach is gunning for you, and like how do you obviously don't really joke then, I assume, but I can't really see a serious side to you at the same time, but I'm sure there is.
No, I've always kind of just try to take it, try to not be too hard, I guess. Yeah. On myself, I know when it has been an important match and we have lost. I mean, I'm disappointed. Like, don't get me wrong, but I try to look at things that are positive and try to make guys happy. And I know that being in a change room, maybe the way that you act is never going to be, the way that other people might act when people lose or the team loses. I know from just in the past, I think of maybe Bessart Barusha, because that's fresh. Like he's someone that takes losing very seriously.
Super serious.
It's super seriously. But, I suppose you need people in any organisation to have that passion and drive to kind of, help a team. But for me, it was always just to kind of make all my teammates happy, and even in life, just trying to make people happy.
Yeah, that's funny. Rashid always shares.
My man.
Rashid Mahazi, my best mate, and I feel like Rashid's a similar character to you. Like he's attracted by easygoing and fun people, and I think that's pretty cool because we've both experienced like the serious side of football, and characters like Bessart who take everything like super serious, and then you have the other guys who like. For me, it's interesting because it's like if I was playing with Archie Thompson, so this guy does the business on the weekend, but he's still enjoying through the week. Yeah, he's not. And I think Rashid always said that about you. He's like, man, Archie just like you wouldn't know who he is or what he does on the weekend, but he'll turn up and play.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with Rashid, I love Rashid too because I mean his story too. We've all kind of fallen out of love with the game at some stage in our careers, and for him, I mean, to see where he kind of went and where he's at now and where he continues to learn. I mean, I'm inspired by him. Yeah. I get inspired by those guys that have turned, make you sort of learn things and grow. And I feel like he's done a lot for me, more than what I've done for him. He sent a mad message after I decided that I wasn't. I didn't really decide. It was kind of decided for me to finish.
You were going to keep playing, weren't you?
Yeah, I wanted to.
You were happy with like playing that role, and you were. I mean, you won a championship, kind of playing that role too.
Yeah, right? What disappointed me about being out, like kind of that time, was that I was getting forced out, knowing that my role was going to change. I kind of understood that, but the players that were there. And what I still had to offer, that's what kind of upset me because I felt like I was still better than even those players. Yeah. So, that was disappointing, but, you live and you learn. But, again, from where Rashid came, man, it was amazing. And I love people like that when you can learn. Yeah. And he's copped a lot of criticism. He fell out of love for the game. I mean, I've been lucky that I've kind of haven't had that experience, but... I suppose coming out at the end of my career, I seen how ugly it can be with sport and
Like the business
end,
end,
the
right?
business end, because you give so much, and then at the end of the day, you're just a piece of meat commodity that
I know, right?
you get passed through. But I mean, look, you just got to learn to let go of that pretty quickly, and I felt like I have, and I'm just grateful that I've had the opportunity to go places, experience things, and meet amazing people.
Yeah, it's pretty unique. What for you? I mean, what brought you towards soccer as a kid? Like, was it family, or did you have certain idols that drew you to the game?
Oh man, it was. Well, I had 3 brothers and 2 sisters, so we all played football, even mum and dad. So for me, man, all my childhood was jumping in the old Ford Falcon and going to football. That was
That's
us.
what you remember, yeah.
Man, that was it, and I loved it, and I guess that's why I loved it so much, even because I guess it's a sense of family. You enjoy it. I enjoyed it growing up with my family. You grow family throughout different clubs and teams.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's once you kind of finish football, I mean, you only sort of have a handful of people that you still.
It's crazy,
really
right?
connect with.
Yeah, I always found that difficult because I'm like, it's such a unique environment. You got like 40 friends every day that you walk into, and your brothers, and then like you leave the game, there's probably like 3 or 4 you stay in touch with. And like,
well, I guess when I finished, I didn't want to be that person that was almost looked upon as still hanging on. I mean, because I used to give shit to that guy that was doing that too,
Yeah,
and
he's
then,
still in the team WhatsApp.
Yeah,
Get out, bro.
Man. But then I kind of, I understand that when you do go out of it. But that's why when I went out, I didn't want to hang around too much.
Yeah.
The only time I kind of was connecting was when I had me Fox football stuff that I had to be at the ground.
Yeah.
But, like I said, there's only probably a real handful that I'll kind of still speak to. And, but I completely forgot about what I was talking about, Rash. But Rashid, when he wrote me a letter, man.
Oh, yeah.
After when I, got
Retired.
Retired. Loosely retired.
Yeah,
And then, he said... man, I can't even think of it now, but it was like you inspired me, to play the game, and man, that's incredible. Like for me, that kind of made me more emotional than actually finishing the game, because you know that you've actually affected not people that are obviously fans and stuff like that, and kids. It's your own teammates that might necessarily say things while you're playing, but obviously want to show you. Outside of that, and for me that was incredible. That's
special. I know you had a big impact on him, because I think one of the things, and Rashid won't care me speaking about it, but one of the things that he was bothered by at the time, obviously his dad had passed away, but the whole business end of football and like the way people were getting treated, like just didn't align to his values. And even with me, it's a brutal industry at times. Yeah. But I think, as I said to you earlier, like your persona was like, I'm still going to enjoy my life. I mean, anyone can do what they want.
Yeah, man, it was... I walked a real fine line, I must admit. But, I had fun, and I live and I learn,
So,
good.
Going back to pre-A-League, I guess, time in Belgium, you were playing in the NSL. What was the NSL like back then? And I guess, when did you start playing in the NSL from the start?
Well, NSL... Gosh, I started... My first game was in 96, I think, 97. But for me, NSL was phenomenal. Like, there's so many great players. Yeah. So and it was a huge opportunity for anyone that had a bit of talent. You know? These days, it's obviously harder. But I think the way that I got there too was... like, I didn't go kind of the normal straight path. You go through rep teams and then you make it. But mine was a little bit... windy. I mean, hanging out with people that I probably shouldn't have been hanging out with. Fell out of the game. Would probably rather be at parties, chasing girls and all that sort of stuff. And then, it's funny how a trip to, I think it was, my mum took me to court one day after me getting in trouble. And, I could see how upset she was. And I said to her, and this is when I was 16, 17.
Were you playing in the NSL then?
No,
this is before?
This was just before.
Right.
And it's funny when you're I'm very strong now on the universe and what you attract. And I mean, when I was coming out of football, because I was in such a damper place, and you would have probably known it
man.
too. The people you attract,
Man, it's there's a party element. It's not true to yourself.
Yeah, and so I guess when I told my mum from being in court, seeing how upset she was that you're never going to see me there again, I'm going to make you proud, and that's it. And so my mindset changed pretty quickly, and then things started to come my way, opportunities, and an opportunity was to go to Gippsland.
That's right.
And
They were in Morwell.
Morwell, and I trialled in a gravel car park. So there was a football pitch just over there, but for people that don't know, is Frank Arrock. He's a legend of old NSL and coached Australia.
Yeah.
He was a bit mad, but he had us training in the gravel car park, and I kind of knew this might be my last opportunity. So I went from like a madman, like there were rocks and gravels. By the end of the trial, my legs were all cut up and stuff. But he signed me up that day, and I guess from that moment in the court to where I am now, I kind of had I like to have a laugh and maybe do things that you're not meant to do in my journey. But when I knew I had to work hard, I worked hard.
Yeah.
And, that was one thing that, people probably, see the funny side of me. But as soon as I stepped on a training pitch,
you took it serious.
Yeah, I took it pretty serious.
Because I always felt with you, and no doubt you worked so hard to get to where you were from a football standpoint. But it always just, even watching you when you were like at Victory and playing for the Socceroos, you can tell when some people just have like natural ability.
Yeah.
Like you could do things naturally that people would have to work really hard at or couldn't do. But so were you always quite naturally gifted at sport or football growing up, or?
Yeah, football I was. Like I always was, and but then again, it's like I seen a lot of quality players.
Correct, right.
Growing up in my time, and that were just as talented as me. But sometimes I always say that to especially young guys, it's not necessarily the ones that have the talent. I always thought that like it's definitely the ones that want to work harder.
Yeah,
and so. I never believed that raw talent could get you anywhere. It was always you got to have that bit of something else.
Yeah, you got to have that
Mungle.
drive and gut, right?
Yeah. So I'm kind of lucky that certain periods in my life that I had to kind of have a straight sort of mindset that they helped me.
So when you were at Morwell, you were there for how long? And then
2.5 years.
And then did you go to Carlton after that?
Yeah, Carlton. Yeah.
Can you explain to me like what Carlton was like? Because that, for those that don't know, had like some of the Australian Socceroo greats.
Yeah.
Like Bresciano and Grell. I don't know if there were Socceroo greats then, but then there was like Andrew Marth. There was heaps of greats there at the time. So it was pretty unique dressing room.
Yeah, man, it was an eye-opener to what I'd experienced at Gippsland Falcons. I mean, it was such a laughter. I mean, Falcon stuff. I mean, God, some of the stories that came out of there, but what an experience. Great guys. Still stay in contact, have a WhatsApp
no
group
way.
Still called Gippers.
No way.
Yeah, some of the old blokes that are still hanging on. I mean, I don't know where they get some of these old footage, but they're like, "Oh, I remember this move or remember that," and they're like, "You got to delve into some pretty historic bloody websites to get there."
Yes, the video recorders.
Yeah, they're using the phone to get it. So that was an experience. But then going to Carlton, man, that actually helped me a lot because I learned a lot. Andrew Marth, animal.
Stabber.
Oh, Stabber. Absolute animal. I mean, and Steve Horvath.
That's right.
Oh, God. Mike Conroy, Dave McPherson. John Markowski. Lubo Lebzanski. Oh. Man, just phenomenal players. Simon Colosimo.
That's right. Shimmy was there.
Yeah, just before, I think Bresh played maybe 1 or 2 games just before he left. So
okay.
And obviously Vince, but yeah, what a team to obviously come into and learn from. Because a lot of those players I learned a lot from.
Yeah.
Mike Conroy, he was pretty more sort of straight kind of shooter.
Yeah.
Didn't like sort of things outside of football. So I learned a lot from him. From staying back and working harder, and Andrew Marth, what a legend. I mean, I remember getting caught with him. And a lot of people said, Archie, man, don't get caught out on a night out with Andrew Marth. He won't let you go home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't. And anyway, I don't know if you remember Alex Moreira. No. He was a Brazilian. He was quality. He played at Carlton. Anyway, we were out, and I seen a lot of players were starting to leave, and I wasn't, drinking at the time, so I was driving, and then everyone was leaving, and then it was just me and Alex and Andrew Marth, and I'm like, okay, I saw Alex sort of smoozing up with a girl, and I'm like, man, whatever you do, don't leave me with Stabber, or at least tell me when you're going so I can hang on. Anyway, he took off without even telling me, and I'm like, oh, you bastard. So it was me, and I went up to Stabber and I said, man, look, bro, this was coming about 4:00 in the morning.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, man, I need to go, man. I'm tired.
This is like you're the young player in the team, and Stabber's like the captain as well, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like...
He's a legend. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
and he said to me, Archie, you got two options. One option, you stay and have a good time. Or your option two is I bloody knock you out.
Yeah, that's Stabber.
Yeah, I'm gonna knock you out. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, well, I obviously stay with the option one.
Yeah.
And then probably got to about 7 in the morning. I said, man, look, Stab, I don't care. I'll go option two, bro. I need to go home and sleep. And anyway, I ended up driving off him home. But those are sort of characters that I grew up with and learn a lot from.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a phenomenal footballer, great leader.
Yeah.
But another one that likes to have fun. And you learn a lot from those guys. And so I did.
Man, the Carlton, I mean, that always stands out to me as like an NSL team that was just incredible with the amount of quality of Socceroos.
Yeah.
And I think like a lot of people would be shocked if they look at that team sheet and be like, shit, that was a team
Yeah,
at one
that
point
was-
in our time.
That
But
was good, man.
so at what point did you decide to leave Oz? And how did the move...
Sorry, I need a bloody tissue here.
Oh, okay, mate.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, because when you went to Belgium, right, following that,
Yeah.
so
Well, Carlton was folding, so I had an opportunity to go to Marconi, and at the time, my agent said, "Look, man, I've got a trial in Belgium." So it was with Anderlecht. Yeah,
fucking hell.
so that was the first time I went, and so I went and I trialed there, and I ended up going. We trained really well for the week, and my brother-in-law and my sister came from the UK, and they came to Belgium, and I hadn't seen them in ages. So I thought, this is a great opportunity. I'm here, I'm trialing, and then so we ended up going out, and I trained really well with Anderlecht and got smashed.
Did you?
Yeah, it got really smashed. I mean, in Brussels, man, Bacardi Cokes, they pour the Bacardi that in a little bit.
Europe pours, mate. They're soda tops.
So crazy. So I had that mixed in with bloody snails, because I ate some snails. I thought, you know what, I'll try snails. Be out. And then I got on the Bacardis, woke up so crook the next day, like.
Yeah.
And I missed an actual
trial
game that they had organised against, I think it might have been the Ajax youth team.
Anderlecht's the biggest team in Belgium, by the way, right? It's not a small team.
No, it's not. So, mind you, I was naive with all that sort of stuff. So anyway, I couldn't play the game. So I made up that I had food poisoning, but I reckon it was a combination of snail and Bacardi. And then I came back, but they actually wanted me to come and trial again. So I was like, man, okay, cool.
These guys.
So yeah, man, I'll go again. So straight after the Confeds Cup with the Socceroos, I literally flew straight there, stepped off a plane, played a trial game. I was hopeless, hopeless. It was tough. But then there was another team there that saw something in me, and I signed there and stayed there 4 years.
So was it
Lissa? Yeah, Lissa.
That's
yeah.
how you pronounce it.
Yeah, great club, good club.
Yeah, so 4 years there.
Yeah,
What was the Belgium league like for you in comparison to the NSL? Was it like a big change in quality?
Yeah, quality, professionalism,
Yeah.
just I guess the intensity, and the fact was that Belgium was seen at the time a sort of stepping stone for players to get into Europe.
Yeah.
And then obviously if you had enough quality, you could go to the bigger leagues in Europe. So that was what Belgium was like. So everyone that was coming there, this was their opportunity. So it was like it was pretty full on. So every training session, you have to turn up. If you don't, like, there's always someone there. So that was probably a big learning curve for me, because old NSL, I'd kind of just knew that I was a starter.
Yeah.
There, you kind of didn't know that. You had to work hard. So that, I guess that sort of helped, again, my mentality about, you know, how I had to kind of turn up all the time when it came to training.
Yeah. So when you were playing in Belgium, were you playing for the Socceroos as well? Or were you kind of in and out?
Yeah, I was in and out. Because
Alright.
that squad was, that was...
Because so you played for Socceroos for a long time then.
Yeah.
Like if we're going back Belgium,
well,
pre-Belgium even
Yeah,
maybe.
my first game was against Colombia. In Colombia, Bogota.
No way.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so...
Far out.
Yeah, that was my first Socceroo game.
What year was this in?
2001.
2001, okay.
And, you know, breaking into that Socceroo, you had... who was it? Paul Ocon, Mark Viduka, like Kevin Muscat, Craig Moore, Schwarzer, Kuhl, Bosnich. Like, these were those players. Yeah. So, I mean, even to get an opportunity to, like, be in the squad was
massive.
Enough.
Yeah, 100%.
But it was just hard to crack, that squad. It was even hard to crack that Frank Farina sort of... I think that even might have been pre-Frank Farina era. But Frank Farina.
It was Frank Farina,
Yeah,
right?
Frank Farina. But Frank Farina had his favourites too, so it was hard to even, like... it was, like I said, it was hard to crack in, but once that was a clean slate because Hiddink came in... Yeah. Man, it was like straight in. Straight in.
So around that time, I feel, and this is obviously you've had 4 years in Belgium and you've explained, you've kind of learned the real rigours of like professional football where if you're not playing well, you're going to get... You're not going to play. Yeah. Or like you're going to get put in a corner, you have to work your way back.
Yeah.
But then what prompted the move back to Melbourne and then like how did the whole discussion, like who called you to say, hey, there's a league starting in Australia?
Ernie Merrick.
Merrick.
Ernie Merrick gave me a bell. And my ex was pregnant with our second at the time. So that was like, okay. And when you have a family, your kind of priorities change a little bit. I mean, if you kind of just, just a couple without the worries of a child. Yeah. I mean, things I feel are a little bit easier.
Can be a bit more selfish, maybe.
But But with my my kid and obviously coming back to Australia only for 4 weeks, and my child only being able to meet their family, and then when they start to connect, we have to go again. And I could see it was obviously difficult on my family, on my ex's family, especially on my child too. Yeah. So I just felt like it would have been even harder to have 2 kids over there.
Shit. Yeah.
And and even Belgian football wasn't like, if you're not in the really top tier of teams, it can be a struggle. Right. And clubs find it difficult to pay. And right. So that was everyone always has this idea that going to Europe's
it's perfect. Right?
Perfect. And you're going to make lots of money and everything like that. But for me, sometimes it was tough. I had to ring home to get some money because, so to bring up a child, a second child, especially when the club was dealing with that sort of stuff, and I saw this opportunity. I mean, it was funny because I actually had the best season of my career in Belgium. No way. I was like one of the top goal scorers in the league. So, but, I mean, I was really... I'm close with my kids, and I was close with my daughter. Yeah. And so for me, and obviously growing up in Australia, it was perfect for her to come back and even have my boy here, and then have a fantastic life growing up as a kid in Australia.
Actually, this is not to sidetrack because I will come back to the next point. But by the way, your daughter's voice.
Oh, yes.
Have to give her a plug on this podcast.
Yeah,
so is it Bella Amore?
Bella Amore, man.
Everyone, get the fuck on Spotify and give this a listen. She just released an EP.
Yes.
Yeah.
EP had a few songs on it.
Yeah. It's like 4 or 5 songs or something.
Yeah, it's Crayons of the
Crayons,
song.
Yeah.
Crayons. I should probably
get that right.
You
should get that
My girl's going to be upset if I don't.
Yeah, but honestly, she obviously, I'm going to just put it out there, she doesn't get a singing voice from you, right?
Oh, man. No chance.
But, me and Rashid, I mean, that's something we go back and forth. He literally sends me her songs. I'm like, I've already listened to it.
Rashid loves her, man. Yeah. Because everything that she writes is from the soul, man.
It's crazy.
I know, it's funny because actually when someone, I used to actually look at young people singing and think, okay, if they're doing a cover, sometimes that's a bit shit. But if a young kid's singing a song and then the words are like amazing, and you kind of think, she's too young to be able to write words like that. She's obviously copied off somewhere. But man, my daughter, 14, 15, or even younger, she was writing music, and we were going through a pretty tough breakup And obviously, kids get affected by that sort of stuff. The stuff that she was writing, it only just clicked when I was reading and seeing it. It was like, man, she's using her music and the writing to obviously go through whatever she's going
like her
through.
emotions.
Yeah,
as a channel to release.
Yeah, so when I listen to her music and I hear her music, it's because she's actually singing it from the soul, and that's what like
that must make you emotional, man.
Oh,
Like,
every time, man. Like she always rings me up, Dad. I've written something. I've wrote something. You got to listen to it because I guess she knows if it's a good one. If I fall apart, but she's amazing. Like to be able to, I feel like that's a massive talent, man. To be able to sing, to write, play an instrument. For me, that's art. That's
yeah,
good.
I can't relate. Like kicking a soccer ball doesn't seem as interesting when you think of that. Like that's like,
man. Like
you know,
it doesn't. Like I still now to like the more I think about it, I've even said it a lot. It's like, man, all I've done is kick a ball around.
Yeah,
like,
I know, right?
What is that? Like people kind of go, oh man, you're amazing. What? Because I kick a little ball around?
Yeah,
I'm not really
a man-made game.
Yeah, man, I'm not really saving lives or doing anything like that. But when I see people that with music and artists and yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, everyone get onto it. Bella Moore Crayons, we believe it's called, the EP.
Yeah, man.
We'll definitely give it a plug.
Sorry, Baba. No.
But no, just so going back to that time, because the A-League when it started, and I don't know if you thought it was going to be like, the first year or two, that Olympic Park was like, it was a fucking buzz, man. It was awesome to be around. And for me, one of the reasons why, as a young player, like coming up in Melbourne, that was like attracted to you and your play was because I felt like you were the first. I mean, in all honesty, I actually think you're the most important player in A-League history, like straight up, bro.
Yeah.
But I think you were one of the first players in the early years of the A-League that had like personality and was effective.
Yeah.
So you definitely stood out. But did you feel the A-League was going to be that big in the first few years, or have that much of a following in Melbourne, for example?
Nah, no chance. I mean, I was blown away to see how it was in that first year. I mean, when we were having Olympic Park full, crowd going nuts. It was an incredible ride. But then, obviously we fell apart mid-season and we didn't even make finals. But I guess we just laid the foundation. Got people excited because there's a massive football following here in Melbourne particularly. So, I mean, we were tapping into that, and so the next year was even better. But to be a part of that, and I mean, I guess my ego and not knowing what was going to come out of my mouth, kind of, I guess. And a lot of the stuff that came out was either funny or stupid, and I guess people relate to you and a lot
you
of
just
it
seem
more.
like a normal guy, but
I mean, we all are, really, aren't we? So, I mean, it was just good because, I mean, for me, I've always tried to stay humble and try to give everyone as much time as I could, and then from supporters to anything walk of life. I mean, that's what you try to do. That's been always told to me, is to stay humble.
Are you? I mean, talking about being humbled, but like, are you humbled by, I guess, how much the Victory fans love you and like are in awe of you even to this day? Like,
yeah, man, it's pretty spectacular. I mean, I mean, sometimes I want other people to succeed, and I want other clubs to succeed. I mean, I put a Western United shirt on just because it was a young club.
Help them out.
Yeah, help them out, promote them a bit, and then all of a sudden I'm the bad person. But they're just passionate. I mean, I love the people that have passion about something. And Melbourne Victory fans are just as passionate as anyone. And I'm fortunate enough that I was in an era that the fans were like nuts. They loved it, man.
Crazy.
I don't think I mean, look, there's some elements of it to be the same as what it used to be, but do you think it's
changed? Like,
massively.
Because I remember going to Etihad when I think pretty much the crowds were getting bigger than Olympic Park could hold, and Olympic Park was changing, and then they moved over to, might have been Telstra Dome at the time, which is now Etihad or Marvel Stadium, I think. And it was like electric, man. Like sitting in the back of the fans, it was like you felt like you're in Europe some games, especially the ones against like Sydney and Adelaide where their crowds would come too. But do you feel the atmosphere's shifted since back then? And if so, why? Why do you think that's happened?
I don't know. I guess it's Yeah, it's hard to tell, really. I mean, it could be the quality of football. It could be, people sort of tend to, when they get a bit older, they tend to go, other priorities. I mean, I'm still mates with Tuna, who was the one that orchestrated the Northern Territory. And, he's got kids. So he
doesn't go anymore?
I don't think he goes as much. But these guys were like setting up meetings at Lygon, like in the back rooms with big projector screens showing exactly, they obviously had a group that started in Northern Terrace that organised a lot of things.
Yeah.
So they met there and they said, this is what we want to get to.
No way.
So they had like, I think it might have been Milan or, because obviously he's Italian. So they wanted to aspire to be like these guys and support. So I was going to these meetings and seeing it like these guys, this is how passionate they were,
Yeah.
I don't know if they have those kind of meetings now or it's as organised as what it was, but man, like that was phenomenal. And you didn't even have to be like you could be the opposition. You go, oh man, when are we going to Melbourne Victory? Because that's the best.
Yeah.
That's the most electrifying crowd to go and play in front.
It was like, that was the real game. Like you guys had everyone, like the biggest game for every other club was against Victory back then, just from an atmosphere standpoint. But I always wondered because I think the first 4 or 5 years Victory won 2 championships.
Yeah.
So we won in the second and then the third or fourth, sorry.
Second and fourth.
So with that, like 2 and 4, you think, fuck, that's pretty good. And you obviously pivotal in both. I mean, one of the games we can talk through where you scored 5, which was just fucked.
Oh man, I was lucky.
It was like a PlayStation game.
I was lucky. It was like a glitch in the game. But I think it was 97, the FIFA 97.
Yeah, but you did this.
You don't know if you had a FIFA.
You did this a couple times. I mean, you scored 13 against American Samoa, which against anyone still scored 13.
Yeah, well, it felt like that day was like a bloody glitch. Because in 97, I think you only had to do was get to the sideline cross, and you used to be pissed off at your mate because, man, that's the only way you can score, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that's what I felt like that grand final was. Because, man, I didn't do really much other than be in the right place at the right time.
I mean, Fred, don't get me wrong, Fred's found you.
Fred's a ledge, man. Like, he was... But I kind of was big in the universe stuff then.
Yeah.
The book on The Secret, like you attract what you... Yeah. And it was happening for me. I'm slowly starting to get that back. But man, I wrote down stuff that I wanted to happen, and when I looked at it, and one was how much I wanted to be getting a month.
Yeah.
And I was like, all of a sudden, just looked. Oh, I might check on what I wrote down, and funny enough, exactly what I was getting was what I wrote down. And then when I was the grand final, I said I was strong on it, so I said in an interview, I'm going to score a hat-trick. Like before the game, man, I said I'm going to score a hat-trick. Okay, who knows if that was ego or confidence or the power of the universe, whatever. But mates or teammates were like, Archie, man, shut up, bro. Seriously. Give us a break. But then I scored 5, so, man, it works.
That was crazy. That was one of the... I still remember that day, like, this, like, clear as anything. I always found it funny, though, because we had I say we because I was a Victory fan as a kid, but there was, like, a strong team back then. I mean, when Fred came, Muskie was captain, you up front. Then we had, like, some good young players like Sarkis, Mitch Langerak was coming through, all those kind of guys. But none of the fans really ever liked or caught on to Ernie Merrick. Like, I don't know why, because when you look at his record, like, he did win championships, and like the first few years, like Melbourne was pretty dominant.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it was his kind of persona that he showed on the bench, like
just nothing,
man. Like
nothing.
I know, like I kind of think if you showed a bit more, then people can kind of connect with you and kind of see that okay, man, we can relate to this dude. He's kind of like normal, you know? But I kind of guess that he kind of wanted to keep things separate as people do, you know.
Yeah.
In those sort of arenas and in obviously in public, you want to have different faces.
Was he different in the change room though? Like,
man, I loved him.
Yeah.
I still even when he went to Newcastle. With anything, sometimes things get a bit stale and clubs need changes or people need change, and I think the way that he left Melbourne Victory was obviously disappointed, but man, he had a wonderful career there.
Yeah.
Just the way he left, I guess, was a bit sour for him, and I guess it's sour for anyone.
Yeah, of course.
When you give your soul, you give everything, and then it's kind of just like I said, taken away, or you're just a piece of meat. And so I guess I suppose if he had done things differently, maybe he would have showed a bit more. But man, he was a lovely guy. He was very big on family.
Yeah.
I guess when he left, I get a lot of those morals and things went with him.
Yeah, okay.
So I kind of, it didn't feel that family feel that it was sort of in the younger
Starting
days.
out,
Yeah,
yeah.
starting days. So that was obviously disappointing. But, with anything, I guess when you start to have success, it's more about money than,
Yeah,
I guess,
of course.
yeah, other things. But in saying that, I still feel there's great people behind it.
Yeah. No, because they were fun. As a fan, I mean, there was some of the best days in the A-League that I remember to this day. But you, for one of the few A-League players anyway in the early doors that always still managed to make the Socceroos.
Yeah.
And one of my first memories of you playing for Socceroos, I know you played well before that, but I think it was like one of the first legs of the qualifiers we used to have against Uruguay.
Yeah, man.
In Montevideo, and I'm
yeah.
like, it was the first time I was like going to shit myself because I'm like, this, how
man, I bloody shit myself actually because because I started to obviously because it was a clean slate for everyone. I was able to play with a bit of freedom, and too because no one was certain to be starters. So when he obviously seen something, he started to play me a lot more. I started a game in the Solomon Islands, and
is this under which coach is this
Hiddink,
under? Oh, this is under Hiddink.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Solomon Islands. So I kind of knew that he really liked me because there was a good squad there, like the golden generation of that squad.
Seriously.
But he put me in front, so I was like, yeah, sweet. And then we got through there, and then obviously it's Uruguay, and then we go to Uruguay.
Is this the year we qualified? Okay.
And I was kind of because I wasn't part of the one before that. I was on the fringes of it, but again, it was hard to crack.
Yeah.
And then, but then when Hiddink and I went to Uruguay, we go have the team meeting, and then all of a sudden I see my name in the starting 11, and no one had said anything to me.
That's crazy.
So man, immediately I thought, whoa, man, this is full on. But then I could kind of feel too that there was maybe players in the squad going, oh man,
fuck?
what's this dude starting, man?
That's
He
crazy.
hasn't played in
Because it was
matches
were you playing off the shoulder of Viduka?
Viduka and Kuhl. Yeah, Viduka and Kuhl. Man, Montevideo. So rock up to the game, man. 50,000 people. Could not hear anything. You listen to the anthem. You listen to your own anthem. Can't hear it. You feel the ground shaking underneath you, man. Like it's amazing, and everyone's just hating on you.
Yeah.
It's intense, man, and quality team too.
Yeah, they were an elite team.
Amazing.
Alvaro Recoba.
Yeah, so
it was
amazing.
like the devil back then too.
Yeah, so man, it was crazy, and yeah, we qualified. It was good.
That can you explain to like some of the listeners just that whole 2006 World Cup campaign, because that was like a defining moment for football in this country. Like one making it, and then the actual performance. Of like getting through that freaking group was crazy.
Well, I mean, I didn't play a minute in that World Cup, so that was really.
You're always first on the field though when you scored.
Oh man, yeah. I guess I was hoping to see that the coach would still remember I was there, because I just never got a gig. But I guess I thought that with the trainings, my way of looking was that I don't think Lucas Neal or Craig Moore would have had the tournament if they didn't have me running at them every training session.
Yeah, that's good.
That's the way I kind of see it. But
look,
man, that was unbelievable. I guess a lot of other players went on to go to other World Cups. I missed the next one because of my knee. I did knee in the year of the World Cup, which broke me. So I don't even watch any football. I didn't even watch the World Cup. I don't even know anything.
Oh wow!
Not that because I don't watch soccer when I don't have to.
Yeah.
And then the following World Cup went through all the qualifications. Then Holger got sacked, and
that's right.
Ange Postecoglou went in, and then he took all these players that were not even part of the.
Yeah.
So I was a bit dirty on that, but. Going to 2006, man, what a run that was, because the team was good, the squad was good, but the other squads that we're playing against, I felt were better. Yeah. But we were just prepared well. Like we worked hard. Yeah. Like Hiddink said, man, if we're not going to be able to match them, skill wise. Yeah. But we're going to match them with a bit of grit and fitness and structure, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, man, we only drew one and won one and lost.
We were the closest to beating Italy at
Yeah.
the World Cup,
Yeah.
and they won. They obviously won that World Cup in the end. But you mentioned Hiddink took a liking to you because then following the World Cup, you had like this experience at PSV in Holland, which short or long, however you want to put it. But
man,
like
10 minutes I had on the
10
pitch.
minutes,
But you know what? I partied harder than anyone. I rocked up, like I got halfway through the season. So they were still in their winter stop, which is like the midway season where they sort of have a bit of time off, but then they have a pre-season.
Yeah.
So I just got there in time for that. But as I was going over there, I had an ingrown hair.
oh no,
And I squeeze anything that's got like anything that resembles a pimple, even though it's like doesn't even have a pimple, like a pus on it. I'll squeeze the hell out of it.
Jesus.
So on the plane for 24 hours, I went in the toilet squeezing this bloody ingrown hair, and I got straight off the plane. Had to go to hospital. I had a big chunk cut out of it.
Oh no.
And I had to get on the antibiotics, and I missed the games because of that.
Oh my god.
And because I was meant to go there and pretty much be a starter, the players that were out came back in.
And then it was just
Man, they didn't lose a game.
Yeah.
And I was always on the bench, and but that's just the way it was supposed to be. But as soon as we won the trophy, they go to like the marked, what they call it, like a marketplace where everyone goes and they celebrate with them. You know. So I mean, I got the trophy and ran up to the thing. And I'm like, yeah, and everyone's like, who's this dude, man? Who's this dude? And man, I was like, I know we got on the bus. I was like, celebrating harder than anyone. Like I played every minute.
Yeah, that's the best
But
part.
you know what? I enjoyed it. It was not many people can say they went to one of the biggest clubs in Holland, and that team then was like
PSV, yeah.
they were playing Champions League. I mean, I sat on the bench. We played Lyon, and this was the knockout stage of the Champions League. And man, I only just realised how big that team was. Lyon. They had Malouda. They had
Juninho, probably.
yeah, yep.
Juninho, yeah.
Benzema. God, who like
I remember that team actually.
Wiltord.
Right.
Man, this team was insane. Tiago was there.
Oh, yeah, the Portuguese
Yeah,
midfielder.
yeah.
Yep.
And I was on the bench for that one. So I mean, look, I would have loved to have played a lot more, but it was still an experience. Got to play with Koku, Reisiger, all these guys, man. Like I when they were at Barcelona, because I love Barcelona when they were playing.
Yeah.
So to see these guys, incredible.
I'm sure you would have like learned so much. Even
man.
At that point, you were, I don't know if you'd say you're at your peak, but like you were at a point where like, I don't know, you just dominated wherever you played.
Yeah.
But obviously for those that know Archie and have known his career, I mean, everyone knows a lot of the great things you achieved and the titles you won and goals you scored. But did you have like some really tough moments in your career, like on the field, off the field, that I guess not affected you, but like affected like on the field performance that you kind of had to go through? Because a lot of footballers, and the reason I ask this is like footballers are human beings, and like everyone has their own shit that they deal with, but the expectation on them to play at the same level never stops. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's fucking hard to do.
Yeah. Man, I've had heaps. Like, I obviously still have them now. Like, everyone does.
Yeah.
Obviously, with football, it's kind of, you got nowhere to hide. It's because it's on show. And
Correct.
So for me, obviously going through a breakup with my marriage.
Yeah.
My kids going away, being told from Melbourne Victory that I wasn't going to be like a Melbourne Victory player or re-sign. I didn't know where I was going to be. I didn't have a contract. I had no skills outside of football. So everything that could have happened all at once. Like, so for me, going to football and training was an outlet to...
Like the release.
To release. Yeah. And then that wasn't even working for me.
Yeah.
I was ringing up training sessions saying, oh, no, I can't go. I can't, but I'm sick.
Yeah.
Like, and just would lay in bed. I couldn't cope. But that's life. Everyone has them, and I was fortunate enough that I have had people around me, and especially my brother, to pull me out of moments when I thought that it could have gone either way. Especially with the people that I was hanging out with. It's funny when you're in situations or in bad places, you attract people that you think are the right ones.
Yeah.
And then still, they probably meant well, but I found that probably with myself. it was more about Archie Thompson, the football, than Archie Thompson, the real person.
Yeah, of course,
and,
right.
And so that kind of, those experiences helped me kind of, I suppose, weed out things that were important in my life and the people that were important.
Yeah.
And I guess too, like I thought that football was like the most important thing ever.
Man.
But for me, it isn't. You know? And you don't realize it until you're out of it. But I suppose it's the mindset you got to have when you're in it, though. You got to be very selfish. You got to be driven, and sometimes you get a bit lost in that. So I feel like if you're a young one going through it, if you can have that awareness to know that, okay, it's not, it's not you shouldn't be all end all. Shouldn't take it with you.
Yeah.
And just enjoy it for what it is, because there's other things important in life than just football.
100%. And this was a big part of the reason why I started this podcast, because it's so true. When you're in the bubble of like the sporting career, it's like that's the only thing that's important, because that's what you're judged on. It's what you're defining yourself on. But like the consistent trait every player has is that your career's going to end.
Yeah.
Like so.
Yeah.
I think, the sooner you're starting to be aware of that or have better balance, you're going to be better. Like you, I mean, it's taken you time, but you're starting now kind of, I guess, finding your feet of like, actually, I prefer this life, or I can function and be a better version of Archie now than maybe on the field.
100%, man. And I felt like, everything's a learning experience. I mean, with my football, the environment that I grew up with, I guess I had to learn things that probably... now when I think about it, where I am now, really weren't the person I was or I want to be, maybe with the way that I kind of maybe treated women, maybe like how disrespectful I was to that, the ego and all those things, and I guess it's from just kind of working on myself, reading a lot, having great people to sort of to speak to, kind of helps you find your way, I suppose.
Yeah. I always say, like, and I think a lot of people used to call you like the Mayor of Melbourne back when you're playing for Victory, or the King of the Streets or whatever. But I'm keen to know, when you stopped playing, like, did you lose a lot of friends, or like people, like, the people that just wanted to be your mate because you're Archie Thompson, the Victory legend? Like, did you lose people that, or was it obvious that there was, people around you for a certain reason?
Although I got to admit, I feel like the people that that genuinely cared. I mean, probably the way that they were living their life probably wasn't the way that I wanted to live mine, but they generally cared, I think.
Okay.
That's which is, I think, because it's, I suppose, the character I am, and there's like, I like to feel that I've got a lot of positivity that attracts people, even if they're going through shit. Yeah. To be able to kind of make it whatever they're going through a little bit lighter, I suppose. Yeah. I must admit, they've been pretty. There's only probably a couple that I kind of go, oh man, you really took me. I didn't even know. You sapped the life out of me. But that's their journey. They gave me a lesson. And I guess now when I'm a bit older and wiser, I suppose, you kind of see things as lessons more than negative stuff.
True. When obviously you played with Kevin Muscat for a long part of your career. Yeah. I always find it like, I can't imagine it because I wasn't in your shoes, but was it weird to then be coached by him?
Not really.
Or was it like there was respect level was always there, and like you kind of knew how to be professional? Yeah, the
respect. We're two different people. He's obviously he's a real leader, but he probably leads in different ways than what I would, but you could see that he was going to always be a coach. He just had the qualities, and I respected him as a player and as a coach. And I text him when he's got a gig now in Belgium just to say congratulate him and all that. But I mean, like, there's players that you won't necessarily hang around with. Of course, people see, oh man, your best mates. No, not really. But there's a mutual respect there. Yeah. And so I think that's with Kevin. That's why I found it pretty easy for him to, for me to see him as a coach. Yeah. I mean, you played well under him. I always found that weird, because it's like probably a guy you've been having this like joker conversation with, like having beers with after games, and all of a sudden he's like, he's got to put you on the bench because like you didn't play well last week. And I guess he has that kind of, I guess character to be able to have those tough conversations.
Yeah, he's got the inner cunt.
Yeah.
Can be direct. Right?
100%.
Yeah,
man. I like the fluff, and sometimes I get other people to do it.
Yeah.
But that's what I like about him. You kind of know where you are.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, that when he says something, he obviously that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
There's no,
you know where you
there's
stand.
no, yeah,
right?
you know where you stand. So I guess that's why when he told me, look, Archie, we're not going to sign you.
Because I was going to say, was he the one that had to have that conversation with you? Like your
yeah,
guy you won championships with? And
he did. So, I mean, he took me to a cafe and kind of obviously a place that was full. It's like that Jerry Maguire scene,
Yeah, so you could.
Jerry Maguire scene where it's like,
Yeah.
man, was it Jerry Maguire? It was, yeah,
Yeah, it
when
was
he
Jerry Maguire.
when he was let go.
Yeah.
A busy place, but I mean, I kind of knew in a way too that my body wasn't responding as well as what used to,
Yeah.
But still, in saying that, I still knew that I could do a job.
Yeah, you were like redefining yourself
Yeah.
as a player.
But you know when you know when you're not sharp to a certain thing, or and I guess it was time.
How old were you then? Were you
37. Man.
37.
Yeah. So I mean,
you got some.
I lived.
You got some. But like, even though like you even, and this is something that I actually had Johnny McCain on the episode,
Johnny,
and I know you're
well,
close with him.
Yeah.
But because I said to him, I'm like, fuck, Johnny, it was hard for me leaving the game because like I felt like I underachieved. I didn't hit my goals. I was young, so it's like I kind of carried that regret until I could get to a place of like acceptance.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm glad it happened, and now it's helping me. But even for you, after like you probably ticked a lot of boxes everyone wants to achieve in their career, but was it still hard to leave the game, even though you were content with what you had, or were you ready, like mentally, for a change?
I don't think I was ready then when I stopped. But then I guess now when I think about it all, I guess you're never really ready.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you just slowly, just life becomes life, and then you find your groove.
Yeah.
So I guess I was never ready, but I'm still involved in the game. I mean, I still love it.
I'm glad you are.
Yeah, but then even saying that, like, I guess being part of Socceroos, and even sometimes now I feel, even with Fox Sports, I feel like that I haven't had the career that I still probably, I don't know, I guess I feel like I'm still underachieved in what other people have to be in the position where I am, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Like, I feel like when I look at maybe Harry Kuehl or Tim Cahill or Mark Viduka or even like Bosnich.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like sometimes, okay, well, I've had a great career in A-League and I'm up here talking and people see me at this thing, but it's only really at A-League.
Yeah.
I mean, not taking anything away from the A-League, but it's like, I still feel a bit, I guess, what's the word?
Like, I guess you feel like you're under them in a sense of like what they achieve.
Yeah.
But I'm at the same table. In my opinion, it's the same. It's got the same weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. I think that's fucking harsh on yourself. You're pretty fucking good at it.
Thanks, man.
I mean,
look,
seriously.
well, that's probably just my, like,
I think that's just you being you, probably, like a critic of yourself.
Yeah, but that's everyone, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's
100%.
hard to take praises. And the thing was, it's funny because I see a psychologist now, like, because, I mean, shit gets on top and you need
help.
a bit of help. And one thing that was really... And I know when I have an epiphanal moment. Is it epiphanal?
Epiphany.
See, I've got to do those bloody classes. Epiphany in certain maybe moments of when I'm having a psychologist meeting or what do you call it? A bloody session.
A session, right?
And then and when she says something, and all of a sudden you go, shit. You start tearing up and all that sort of stuff. But it was one big moment when she said, like, I mean, you're okay to talk to someone and say to them, man, you're a bit hard done by, man. Look, don't be kind to yourself. Love yourself, man. It's all good.
Yeah.
But then to actually say it to yourself,
you're like, what?
It's hard, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. I mean, when I look at all the things that have happened in my career and throughout my life, I mean, like the breakup and my marriage and the way that it did happen and how I was feeling like a shit person and then it just but then you kind of think, man, well, I was young.
Yeah.
And if I could say what I've learnt now to that young person and say, man,
be kind to
be
yourself.
kind to yourself,
Yeah,
bro.
man.
And, if people are kind to themselves, they probably wouldn't have a lot of the stress and probably the issues that they do now.
It's so fucking true.
And I still forget it, but I still
Yeah.
remind myself, man, we're just here learning.
Yeah, there's no rule book to get through this life. Like,
Nah, man.
but that's what I found. And I found this with my career. And maybe I think back, I'm like, man, I used to treat myself like shit if I
we
didn't
all
didn't
do,
play or
man.
train well. I'm like. It's not like I'm going out there to fucking shank a ball and hit it out or miss a shot or miss a goal. But
We're all trying our best, right?
Yeah, right. And then
Yeah.
it's like, but you take. I used to take it home with me, man. I used to
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
and run my. And this is something actually where I went and saw a sports psychologist probably 2 years ago. Her name's Jackie Lauder. She's at the Olympic Park. But she's amazing. Anyway, she told me, and this is something that I think is so true for anyone in life, but even sport. I'm interested to get your perspective. But she's like, athletes invest so much time, energy, money into their physical fitness, but invest fuck all into their mental fitness and their mental and how much of the game is actually played in the brain of the challenges you get. You don't get it. It's up here, half of it. But do you think something, I guess, I don't know, more kind of mental awareness or more discussion to actually make people mentally tougher and more prepared for challenges should happen more in sport or in soccer, for example, or football?
No, it should happen in life.
Yeah.
Man. It should, not just in sport. It should, obviously we're under the microscope and, we get probably judged a lot more, but it should be from starting in school. It should be I see, because my partner's kids, there was a lot of homeschool learning and I see some of the subjects and I think, man, what a waste of time that is, man. Okay, language is great, but the guy Italian, for instance, is like, well, I'd rather my kid learn about being kind to himself or being kind to others than to worry about how a C sounds on a bloody chow. You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree more.
I mean, that's where it should start.
Right.
And I think now the government has, through this period, has changed the mental what do you call it?
Programs.
No, mental health.
Oh, really?
It used to be 10 visits, and then the government used to subsidise 10 visits.
Ah.
Now they're subsidising 20. I reckon it should be just free because
100%.
at 10, you're only just starting to scratch the surface of probably why you act in certain ways or you respond from certain things. But then now it's 20, which is great. But it needs to be taught in kids.
Yeah.
That's it's okay.
So given, I guess, because you seem and as I've always known, you've always been I think personally a pretty well-rounded character. And I mean, you obviously are. This is one thing I spoke of last week, and it took me 5 years to realize actually all the success I got in soccer and you got in soccer wasn't actually defined by just you as a soccer player. It's really defined by you as the human.
Yeah.
It's once you branch away from that and actually realize, fuck, I'm actually a pretty good human because everything I achieved there was in here.
Yeah.
And all those skill sets actually can translate into other parts of life, which you're probably starting to experience now. But I guess if you were starting your career over again, knowing what you know now, would there be anything you would do differently? I guess to help prepare you either for the now or to maximize the time whilst you were there.
I'd probably drink water between shots. I know back then I wouldn't have probably had so many bloody hangovers. But man, if anything, I probably just remind myself to be just know that you're doing the best that you can, and that's all that you can really do, and be kind, man. That's to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the old saying, man. When you're kind to yourself, you can obviously give more to others.
Yeah.
And and probably a lot of my career, I was driven in different ways that weren't the right way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now you live and you learn, man.
I've actually got a bit of a message here from our mutual friend Rashid Mahasi. He goes, can you ask him these two questions, please? He's gone. Can you ask him about why he lost a sock in South Korea? Can you answer this on air? Or?
Yeah, man, he loves that story. I told it on KO, actually, on one of the podcasts we're doing through KO. Fox Sports. Me, Rashid, Costa Barbarouses and Nathan Coe went for a walk in Korea. And, man, this place was in the middle of nowhere. And I have issues with my stomach, man. Like it's I don't know. It's a kind of a what is it like? Anxiety that I have is that I need to know where a toilet is.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I don't know I think it was when I shit my pants going to school.
Oh, that's probably it.
Yeah,
it's
and
a
it's
childhood
just affected
pattern that's
me.
just been imprinted.
Bro, it is.
You still have it now?
Man, yeah.
We got a toilet out there.
Oh man, it affects me so badly that I guess I feel like I'm in a better place now that I can kind of relax. Now.
Oh, that's
but man,
so funny.
Toilets, I need to know. If I don't, even if I've done the biggest number 2 you can even think of, if I go out and I know that there's no toilet,
You panic.
I panic
And
I
you
say,
need a
I need a
shit.
I go, how is this possible, man? I literally just did it. So and that's so I know every toilet in Melbourne.
Yeah.
I can tell you every public toilet.
That is
because I just that's me. But a lot of people suffer from it. You know, I get up and talk about this stuff, and man, people go, man, that's me too.
Yeah, people put their hands
struggle.
up.
Yeah, but it is, man. I do. So with the sock thing, I was out in Korea and we're walking. Oh man, I need to go to the toilet, and there was a public there was a toilet there. I got there, but they had no toilet paper. So I had my pants rolled up, and so I just took my sock off and used it as a toilet paper.
Yeah.
And then I walked out, and because I had my shorts on and one sock up and no other sock, he's like, Rashi was like, man, where's your other sock, bro? And I'm like, well, you know, I had to, but I didn't get rid of the other one. But it was just how it happened, and like that, it was just funny to be there, you know.
Oh my God. Well, yeah. Anyone who wants to know where a public toilet is in Melbourne, Archie Thompson is your man.
Yeah.
And then the number 2 was ask him whether he ever had any issues because of his jovial attitude, particularly if the team had just lost. What does he mean by that? Like, I think jovial is meaning like your Joker kind of.
Oh man, yeah. Well, like I said, man, when I lose, I try to not get lost in that and try to think of ways to make my teammates laugh and then make myself kind of get out of it. So I didn't think too much of it, man. Just joking and laughing. I mean, people didn't take it the right way. I remember when we were about to just have a see how when you're young and dumb, you think of stuff. But when we had a drug awareness, it's like a seminar. And it was like everyone was in the theatre room and I mean, it doesn't sound as funny as when you're actually there, but we're all waiting to have this drug talk about, you know, the effects of drugs and especially, you know, in sport and just in life. And I remember we'd just come off a loss, so everyone was so disappointed. And I guess I wasn't playing, and I came riding on a bike through this theatre room, and I'm high, man, I'm high. And then everyone just lost it. Rashid lost it. You know, I guess that was one of the moments where.
Oh God, that is golden.
Yeah, so that was probably the.
See,
funny,
this
man.
is the Arch.
But then, like, there's probably the people there was like, man, we just lost.
Yeah, this is probably the wrong time.
Wrong time.
Oh, but that's why you got.
But I've never been a right time kind of person. Man.
That's what makes you perfect.
Yeah.
Well, Arch, man, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. As I said, you've moved into like a Fox Sports media role, which you probably never thought you would ever do. But
man,
you're doing it, and like people actually people love you. I think
I don't know, man.
There's actually one thing I wanted to say. There's footage of you, and you might remember this, but it was a serious Fox Sports discussion, and you were like taking notes on a game, and then it went to your notes, and you're just drawing a stick figure of a person, and everyone's like, "This guy's just taking the piss."
That was so
That's true.
funny, man. I love that.
But then you've got the Football Academy and the franchise.
Yeah.
Today, actually, this episode is sponsored by FC Kit. There's a branding come over from NZ over to Oz. There's some socks here if you want them.
Man, NZ have got some mad stuff.
Yeah,
man.
so
they're always pretty cool. Though.
Pretty cool, man. But no, thank you, bro, for coming on.
Man, I
It's a pleasure.
appreciate you having me. Man.
No, it's awesome. And as I said, Rashid's going to come on. I'm sure I'll
Oh,
get some
Rashid.
beef off you
Man,
from him.
he's a legend, man. He's like, yeah, he's such an interesting dude. Man.
He is. I can't wait to get him on the podcast.
Well, I actually tried to start one too.
Did you, man?
Yeah, in my bloody living room.
Oh, did
In a one-bedroom apartment. No, I did it. I tried.
Oh, you did it, right.
Yeah, but we ended up getting like loose all the time.
You couldn't hear it.
Nothing went there. But it was fun.
Oh, well, this has been fun.
Yeah.
Arch, thanks, man.
Cheers,
Appreciate
brother.
it.
Thanks, man.